Moving on to Southeast Asia and a 2-week-long battle on Mindanao, an island in the southern Philippines. On September 9th, as many as 200 heavily armed separatists from the Moro National Liberation Front attacked the city of Zamboanga. The fighters grabbed hostages and fought with security forces. Some 100 people have been killed, most of them separatists. As many as 80,000 residents of the city have fled their homes to escape the shooting and the Philippine Army's helicopter gunships. The surviving separatists are holed up in the city's suburbs and are said to be trying to escape by sea. The Moros are indigenous Muslims who have been fighting for a homeland for more than 4 decades in Mindanao and neighboring islands. At least 140,000 people have died and 2 million have been displaced as the Philippine Army tried to crush the separatists. After fits and starts, the government in Manila signed an agreement with the Moro Islamic Liberation Front late last year, allowing for autonomy to parts of Mindanao. But by then, the separatists had split, and one faction, the Moro National Liberation Front, was left out of the peace talks. The attack on Zamboanga seems to be their leader's attempt to muscle back in. The fighting has shocked many in the Philippines. Noel Tarrazona is LinkAsia's contributor, and he lives in Zamboanga City. First, Noel, how worried are you about your own safety?
Yes, Tui, just a few minutes ago, there were crossfire outside, and we've been locked up in our homes for more than a week because of sporadic gunfire and attack helicopters, launch airstrikes on rebel positions. The people are afraid, and more than 100,000 people flee their homes, and they are now housed in evacuation centers. More than 100 people have been killed. And remember, this is a city of more than 100,000 people. And the fighting has been going on. And the neighbors right now are in fear. The separatist raid has angered many. And most net users believe the government should show the fighters no mercy. One net user appealed, use the full force of the law. Eliminate this MNLF terrorist. Another net user sarcastically wrote, if you are brave and smart, why attack Zamboanga and then hide under the skirts of women and children? Why not fight like a good and an honorable soldier of Noor? You are using the path of Islamic terrorists and Japanese rapists in 1945. What a combination of terror and maniacal tendencies combined. Some net users are making satirical appeal to MNLF hostage takers, like this net user who wrote, surrender, or else we will send the same lousy and untrained policemen who handled the Luneta hostage crisis. That net user was referring to the 2000 hostage crisis when untrained policemen reportedly shot the 8 Chinese hostages, including the hostage taker in Luneta. But this net user has a different view. He wrote, hey Aquino, you are not murdering meek land tenants. The citizens you are bombing now are people with principles, willing to fight till death, especially when cheated by you. In 1996, the MNLF guerrillas forged a peace agreement with the Philippine government, but the former claimed the government did not fully implement the agreement. The violent standoff in Zamboanga City will make the Philippine government rethink whether to go back to the peace negotiating table or launch a full-scale war with these guerrillas.
So, no, what I want to know is it your sense that most Filipinos are sick and tired of the talks with the Moro?
Yes, most people here are really relying on the Philippine government, and that's why the Philippine government has been campaigning to the people that let us support this peace process, because this will once and for all solve the Mindanao problem that has been going on for the last 40 years. And this has claimed already more than 140,000 lives. So the government has been courting the public that let's give this negotiation a chance.
Okay, well, let's see if it's enough to change public opinion. Noel, thank you for joining us. And boy, it sounds like you're right there in the danger zone. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, I certainly will, Twee.
To tell us more about the battle in Zamboanga City and what it means for peace between the Muslim minority and Christian majority in the Philippines, we have Stephen Rood with us on Skype from Manila. Rood is country representative for the Asia Foundation, a San Francisco-based NGO working on issues of governance and development. Rood himself has been involved in helping to end the conflict in Mindanao as part of a contact group that kept the two sides talking. Welcome to LinkAsia, Stephen.
Thank you very much for having me again.
The attack by the Moro National Liberation Front is being described as revenge by its leader, Noel, who's angry at being left out of the peace agreement. How do you read it?
Well, Noel is the founding chair of the Moro National Liberation Front, and the ongoing peace talks with the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, which broke away from the Moro National Front about 20 years ago. The ongoing talks have angered him because he feels he had a pre-existing deal with the government. As the talks with the Moro Islamic Liberation Front go forward in Kuala Lumpur, it's not surprising that people who feel left out are trying to assert their relevance. And this seems like that is the reason behind the Zamboanga City incident.
Is there a chance that this attack will derail the whole peace deal?
No, I don't think so. In the first place, the Moro Islamic Liberation Front and the government are making steady progress in the negotiations, and both sides do indeed want to reach a deal in the next few weeks. However, what it does show is that in the medium to long term, the peace process needs to be inclusive. We need to build an inclusive enough coalition behind this deal to help the momentum keep continuing moving forward. And the attack in Zamboanga City is not the only group that is disgruntled with the current progress. So there needs to be a fair amount of work in the next couple of years to make sure that we minimize the number of groups that feel violently opposed and try to bring more and more people into the tent.
What's going to happen to Misuari and his faction after this attack in Zamboanga?
That's a good question. Noel is very widely in Mindanao, still respected among Muslims as the father of the separatist movement back in the early 1970s. So they may not agree with him, they may not agree with his particular tactics, and in fact many have denounced the attack, but they don't like it when he is belittled. And so it seems that his core support will continue to shrink, but he will remain a prestigious individual who needs to be taken into account.
Do you think this conflict will ever end? It's been 40 years, and some would say it's been going on for centuries, ever since the Spanish colonized the Philippines.
It takes practically a generation of concerted effort to make that happen. You need to have an entire generation who have lived at peace, who have had economic and educational opportunities, who have had social services that are not disrupted by conflict and displacement. A problem that is 40 or 50 years or 400 or 500 years in the making will not be solved in a short time.
All right, well, thanks, Stephen. A lot of work to do still, obviously. We're just at the end of the beginning, as Churchill said. Stephen Rood is the Asia Foundation's representative in the Philippines. He's also a member of a panel monitoring the progress of the peace agreements. You can read more about him on our experts page.
Now on U.S. airwaves, a global channel of uncompromising stories, world news, documentaries, entertainment, and culture. Link TV, connecting you to the world. For more information, visit linktv.org.